when they're trying to sell you things like Coca-Cola through the telly. So I realized for the first time that the world that was being sold to me was not the world that I wanted to buy, that this conformity vision of just being like everyone else and trying to be cool and trying to fit in and trying to have 2.5 whatever was not for me. I wanted to live that life that was in the book that people have stopped reading by my age. And they even tried to make me care about Paris Hilton. And that was the last straw. I was like, Paris Hilton is too much. I'm not buying it. So I turned my TV off. And when I turned it off, I noticed something. That a lot of my friends were turning theirs off too, but a lot of people were still watching. A lot of people were still buying. A lot of people were still limiting themselves to what the television told them they could do with their lives. And I couldn't convince them to stop watching or to take new steps or do something. It was very frustrating. And fortunately, although I learned that people tell you lies all the time, I still believe the second lesson. I still really believe we can change the world. In fact, I see it all the time. All you have to do is open up a history book and see it. And I know that I'm not alone. So just as a show of hands, I would like to find out how many people here, by show of hands, think that a better world is possible. Wow, pretty optimistic. So how many people here have hopes for all kinds of good stuff that could be happening, like technology, democracy, revolutionary changes in society, maybe robots and AI? Good stuff? All right. And how many people here are concerned and care about things that might, be dangerous, like terrorism, the economy, politics, all this stuff that's threatening our lives? How many people have issues with these things? All right. So pretty much everyone here in this room wants a better world. We're all united. We're all, turn off the telly. But how many of us do something about it? Now, the reason this talk is not about economics, because in this room, I'm pretty sure everyone will raise their hand that they're doing something with their lives that they feel need. And yeah, the show of hands is rhetorical at this point. You're putting up your hands all the time. So we're all doing stuff. We're making software. We're changing the world. We're experimenting with new kinds of organizations, many of them leaderless. And we even have to help our landlady clear out the garbage. The question is everyone that we know doing this kind of stuff? Now, if you only hung out at Bill and Ted and Hackerspaces, you might be able to say yes to this. And I could almost say yes to this because of the kinds of people I can hang out with. How many people would say that everyone they know is we all know people who are really sad. And the question is why? Why isn't everyone realizing how many awesome things there are to do? Why isn't the whole world empowered? Why isn't this the norm, right? Because it seems like everyone's turned off their televisions for the most part. That's already happened, but a lot of people turned off their TV, and that wasn't enough. There was no quick fix. So I found this little survey about why people are apathetic. And if we don't change this, we could be doomed. So the 41% say they're too busy to do something. And I have a theory about why they're too busy. For the most part, they're playing World of Warcraft and Bejeweled at the same time. You can actually do that now. They combine the two. It's like crack and heroin, okay? And what's the next biggest group? Well, the next biggest group, 4%, just don't care. And they're basically sociopaths. There's a certain percent of people that are just not switched on emotionally. 7% just feel powerless. And it's like, really? You feel powerless? There's so much stuff that you could do, but that's how they feel. And 90% have excuses, like, well, at least I vote, at least I plot, at least I meditate, or I didn't vote for them, or whatever. They're dog-eating. They're not interested. And 39% just trust the government and are basically paranoid activists. And I know exactly what you paranoid people, if you're one of those who's in this room thinking, right now, I can read your mind. It's a conspiracy. You're thinking this whole empowerment thing is probably funded by some Illuminati CIA group, just like Facebook, and it's all part of a conspiracy. And I just proved that it's a conspiracy because I read your mind. You should have brought your tinfoil hat. Now, basically, this apathy problem is big, but I don't believe it anymore. There's some enemies, there's some evils that you blink and it's gone, and it was an illusion. It was just in your mind. And, there was a time when a lot of people were fighting for change, and it was very recently. And we were wearing Yes We Can t-shirts. Not everyone had to be on board with that, but we're all looking for some hope. And that changed. We're now Yes We Did. The question is, okay, we've got our guy in, or a guy in who's going to help us move question is, now that apathy doesn't make any sense, now that it's not really a viable position, there's so many cool things to do, how do we get it out there? We recently met with William Gibson, who said, the future is already here. It's just not widely distributed yet. And I knew when I first heard that everything was like that. There are solutions to the problem just overflowing all over the place. And the problems and the solutions just haven't found each other yet. They have not added each other as friends yet. So the challenge is to distribute the solution. And we're building an approach to solving this problem of distributing solutions to solve problems. And it's called empowerment. And our motto is empower thyself. Because frankly, we can't tell people how to empower themselves. That's step one. We help people spread it to the whole world. And the thing about telling someone about empowerment, and I used to try to explain empowerment in this talk, and it's very difficult. And you ever tried to get someone to be motivated when they're depressed? There's this old joke. So how many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? Well, it only takes one, except that the light bulb really has to want to change, and it's really busy playing World of Warcraft. It's tanking in a guild raid, and you ask it later. So it's just too busy. And you really can't just sit someone down and tell them to be empowered. That doesn't work. You know, any kind of sales tactic where you are face-to-face telling someone to do something is like your parents. I mean, we can't stand that. So we're much more likely to figure this out for ourselves. And all you can do is plant seeds in people's minds to empower themselves, and they will realize it. Empowerment exists. It's just there. It's like a light bulb inside yourself. It's a button you push inside yourself. And people will find their way to it. But the question is, how do we accelerate people finding their way to it? Because it's not happening fast enough, obviously. We're not showing people's buttons clearly enough. And that's what we're going to do with empowerment. We're going to just help plant seeds that people can choose for themselves. So this is not a talk about empowerment. At a Bill conference, it would be completely redundant because this is a talk about militant empowerment. That is what this is about. So we're not talking just about empowering yourself, because you're already doing that. We're talking about taking that empowering yourself that you're already doing and putting it on a global stage to create empowerment for the whole world and to make this a viral message. And we're talking about specifically a technology platform we're building that is very simply called social.